You're up next. Hello.
Hey, it's John.
Oh, you're another John. John number two. Okay.
All right, so this is from Encore Vegas. It's a 2-5 game, 900 effective.
Are you a regular in that game?
I am not. I was visiting. I'm actually live up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay, so 2-5 Encore, which I think is a 1500 cap, right? Is that
Yeah, I
15?
think that's right.
So 900 effective. Daytime, evening,
This was in the late afternoon.
on a weekday?
No, this was Saturday.
The reason why I ask those questions because I've played in a lot of different rooms around the country, and I always think that Vegas is the one that is the most time sensitive to when the game is, depending on how the game is playing or how good it is. You know, think about tourists, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, I tend to agree. My
yeah,
my sense is evenings and weekends are
yeah,
the time.
weekends, and then if it was a special weekend like March Madness or Super Bowl, those are usually the best one. Okay, so Encore 900 effective 2-5. Okay, yep.
So I'm in the big blind with Jack of Clubs, Nine of Spades.
Jack of clubs. Oh, another Jack nine off. All right, so Hero has Jack nine in big blind. Okay.
And so under the gun raises to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Under the gun +1 calls, folds back around to me, and I call.
Hero calls for the extra 10 in the big blind, and it looks like the pot's probably like $45. Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, the flop is Jack of Spades, 4 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds.
All right, so Jack of spades, 4 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds. So you flop top pair, 2 diamonds out there, very connected. Okay.
I check.
Mm-hmm.
Under the gun makes it 25.
Mm-hmm.
UTG1 folds, and I call.
All right, pretty standard.
Yep.
So I was talking about this in a previous call about sometimes sort of multi-way nature in certain boards where if someone goes large, players that are decent players should fold out some top pairs. This one just kind of came out at me. What if under the gun had bet like say 35 or more and +1 had called?
Yeah, I probably fold.
Can we find the fold here with the Jack 9 off? No diamond? I think we probably can, right?
I do. I also this villain, the undergun player seemed like just pretty solid, but not a pro, not super tricky. I think I actually think like I even think if I put him on a pair immediately, I don't I'm not even sure he bets ace king here.
Ace King is 2 overs and a gut shot. Yeah, Ace Queen, something like that. But I mean, I think you're definitely forced to obviously continue on. I
Oh,
just,
hey, sorry, I'm just checking. It flop was 4 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, not 10 of diamonds.
oh, that's much different. That's much different. That's much different. Even if you have Jack 9 off, I think, and it went 35 call, I think you have to call with Jack 9 on Jack 4 deuce. But Jack 10 4 with 2 diamonds, I think, is a different type of texture. Just a little quick pause here. Of course, I'm going to Hustler Casino Live on Thursday, October 12th. We are doing another giveaway. All you have to do to enter is go to CLPGiveaway.com for your chance to win a piece of me, a free piece of me. I think we're giving away 4 2.5% pieces. And last time that I went there last month, I won over 22,000 and I gave away $2,200 for free. So check it out over at clpgiveaway.com. Back to the hand here. So we're heads up and the pot is $95. Okay.
Yep. Turn is the 9 of hearts.
So you turn top 2.
Yep.
Okay.
So I check. The villain bets 45, and I raise it to 175.
So I like a couple things here. There are certain considerations that will come into play on how I play this turn. If I had your hand and I turned, say, top 2. If the card is disconnected to the board and it has very little relevance to the board where, and I think players nowadays will continue to bet over pairs or a jack and maybe even continue to run some sort of bluff if they pick up like backdoor equity. Like if he was running even like king queen or king 10 or queen 10, right, as a type of holding, then I like going for a check raise. Now, if the board was something different where the turn card gave me two pair and it wouldn't have been a traditional sort of good barrel card for my opponent if he held nothing, or he could be playing pot control with one pair of hands, then I would just donk out. And let me think of something like maybe off the top that might be a good example. Say the board was like Jack 8 5, and then the turn was a 9, something like that. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
Jack 6 7, turn was a 9, or like Jack 10. Jack 10's a little bit different because obviously you lose to King Queen, but those types of boards I do more donking here. If I hit two pair in here, I think going for a check raise is fine. You take it up to just about 4x. You're at 900. I would tend to go a little bit larger here to try to get value from one pairs. I still think that 175 is still going to get called by maybe the same range as up, maybe even up to 225 here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So you go to 175.
Yep.
And he calls?
He calls.
All right. So UTG calls. So we put in 350 here on the turn. So now the pot looks like it's like 445.
Yep. That's what I got to.
Jack 4 deuce 9 here with Jack 9 off in the big blind. Okay. Front door diamonds.
River is the ace of clubs.
River here is the ace of clubs. And I did misspeak, by the way. King Queen didn't pick up anything. King 10, Queen 10. You know what I'm talking about with the 9 coming. So the river's the ace of clubs. So it's Jack of spades, 4 of diamonds, deuce of diamonds, 9 of hearts. River here is the ace of clubs. Now, when he went bet flop, bet turn, and then called your check raise, what do you think his range is here, getting to the river?
So I'm thinking either diamonds or a jack, or
Actually,
maybe
excuse me, King Queen does get. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? King Queen's a gut shot. I was right. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, go on. Yeah.
So range I put him on is flush draws, jacks, and overpairs.
Flush draws, jacks, and overpairs. And what's the most common flush draw that opens from under the gun? Probably.
Yeah, suited ace.
So not flush draws being the most common, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would run into top pair. And I think that we can pretty much all agree that if you check raise turn and check river, a lot of like nut flush draws are going to check back at the end.
Yep.
So you wouldn't want that to happen. Over pairs here, it becomes slightly worse for over pairs like queens, kings. Just obviously the sheer fact that the ace now beats them. But if you were maybe running some sort of play with some sort of combo draw that had an ace in it, they lose to that, or like 5-3, who knows? So, something like that.
Right.
And then the other flush draws have just basically bricked out. But I think that when you take a look at the combos of the other flush draws, they sort of dwarf in comparison to all the other hands like queens, kings, some nut flush draws and things like this. So I would still probably want to do a fair amount of betting here.
Yep. So I bet 110.
So the pot's 445. You guys have put in like right around. You have about 700 left. So just under 2 pot size bets left. So Hero chooses a block sizing of 110. Is that because you want to get the value from Jack X and overpairs, and you're going to get called by the nut flush draw, right?
Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking. Is that I feel like I'm showing quite a bit of strength, and so I wanted him to crying call with a single pair hand.
Now, some people have said, YG says, and again, this is another small stakes exploit. I do not like giving up the betting lead here, and I don't in general like check calling a lot of rivers unless there's two things that specifically go on. The reason why I don't like check calling rivers at this level in live play is because you're going to have a lot of hands that will call a bet that will check behind. People do not value bet thinly. And a lot of times people don't have the bluffing frequency that might be optimal. So the only reason to check the river here is if you were to say that every single bluff that this guy gets with, and there's a lot of bluffs, will just absolutely blast the river, and that factor would be more of a consideration than getting value from a run into ace X with a nut flush draw, or just getting called down, by Jack X or overpairs. And I know in this spot, I don't think it's close. I think the second is way more than the first, which is why I would not check the river. The only thing I would say, and I don't know what's going to happen here, is that sometimes when you do make a bet like this, you do open yourself up to a slight slightly increased bluffing frequency because it is a little bit of a block bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's exactly as I made the bet, I started worrying about that. And I get raised. Villain makes it 475.
And by the way, all right, so UTG to 475. By the way, and I still think you can probably get it. So I think maybe $200 is a more prudent bet because it will decrease the bluffing frequency a little bit and probably still get called by the same kind of range, maybe 175. Kind of get called by the same range. So you go 110, he goes to 475. So let's do some math here. So it's 555 and then another. So it looks like it is what, 1,030, 365 for you to call, right? Pot is 1,030, 365 to call. So you're getting about what, 3-1 on the call? Let me ask you this question. What hands raise the river for value here, given your line from your opponent's perspective?
I think aces and ace jack are pretty much the ones that I would see.
Does ace jack even raise the river? Maybe against 110, maybe.
Yeah, I think because I made it 110, ace jack
and aces.
Does.
Aces are the nuts except for 5-3.
Aces.
Right. Funny thing
I
about
guess maybe one other that possibly ace nine diamonds, perhaps.
thinking that you specifically have Jack 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the other some of those hands, though, lose to sets that you might play here, though, as well.
True.
So it's a pretty thin value range. Obviously, I think aces probably would slam dunk. So there's 3 combos of that. You have a jack. So the way that we do combos is there's 2 jacks left, right? And there are 3 aces left. So there's 6 combos of ace jack that are left, right? We don't know if he would raise all those. So that's 9 value combos. Let's say he raises all ace jack, right? So you've got 6 combos of ace jack left, 3 combos of ace ace. So that's 9 value combos. And then you're getting 3-1. So you need to basically find 3 or more bluff combos. If that was all his value combos, right? 9-3, because you're getting like a ratio 3-1. Can you find 3 bluffing sort of combos? And I do wonder if the bluffing frequency has gone up. Now, what are the bluffs here that he, ends up with? It's obviously nut diamond draws. I don't think the nut diamond draw is at this level is really turning something into a bluff here, like ace 7 of diamonds, something like that. I think that's just always called. So then you look at it's like the Broadway diamond draws that might play it this way: king queen of diamonds, king 10 of diamonds, queen 10 of diamonds. That's, what is that, 2 or 3, and then what, maybe some just queen 10 that's open-ended on turn. If there's 4 combos of queen 10, then the question is, like, does he bluff raise with all those? I think it's pretty close. I think I might flip in the call here just because of the induce factor and just because of the pot odds.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I was thinking bet fold, and so I folded.
Did you find out what he had?
I didn't find out with an actual show. He claimed to that I told him I ended up had Jack 9. He claimed that I had him beat. I don't know if I buy it.
He didn't tell you a specific hand?
No, he didn't tell me a specific hand.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think it's probably pretty close. But sometimes people get a little bit upset when we don't know, like, the reveal, but the reveal doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I would just go back to the fact that I think you induce a larger frequency of raises through your block bet. And if it's only ace jack and ace ace that are raising here, we need to only find 3 bluff combos getting 3-1. And that's really what it comes down to. That's why I would make the call.